Hi, John Alexander with the final match in my league run with Canadian Threshold. 2-2 so far. Lost to Blood Moons and um, Jess Kaidelva won against Mono White, 483 I think cards, and Mono Red Sneak Attack. On the play for this last one, gonna keep this. It's a little risky, but I like it with the double Wasteland, Force, Snare, Deathrite. It's a great hand for a Delver Mirror. Low on spells, but still high on action, because double Wasteland is good. If our opponent does not have Wastelandable lands, it's gonna be an issue, but if they do, that's pretty good. And there's a Delta. Wouldn't mind playing against Storm here. Storm is a somewhat interesting matchup with this deck. Interestingly, not activating the Delta, which indicates to me they are afraid of Stifle and they only have non-basics in their deck. Okay. Badlands. Is this Storm? It might just be. Might just dead. Could also be just Mono Black Reanimator. Dark Ritual, okay. Discard spell. Huh. I'm interested to see where this is going. It could be Storm, it could be Reanimator. Collective Brutality. So do I want to get the extra 2 damage in, or do I want to exile my opponent's card? Or keep up the Deathrite activation. I think keeping up the Deathrite activation is more relevant. Otherwise I would have cracked the Misty for a Tropical and then Spells and Brutality. Okay, Thoughtseize. Take my Force. Hard to say if this is the better course of action. Daze is pretty good here. Likely gonna Daze if my opponent casts a Dark Ritual. I do wish it had been reasonable to main phase exile the Faithless Looting, but you can't have everything. And this definitely works out as well. So good for me. This was a very good draw, not gonna lie. Playing out the Wasteland. And I just have to make sure to not misclick through my opponent's fetch land. Okay, exile. I'm gonna exile Brutality in case they have some stupid card that gets instants or sorceries from their graveyard to their hand. Volcanic. I could play this, and I think actually I should, because now we get to Stifle and Daze with a land that doesn't shut me off from activating Deathrite the way I wanted to. Otherwise I would have to decide between causing damage, or draining my opponent rather, and exiling creatures, which is not amazing. Now I can do both, or not do both, but keep up both, because I have the Volcanic. Notably, there are not enough instant sorceries in graveyards right now to kill my opponent with the Death Rite. I still need 3 more, or Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt alone is enough. Another Daze is a pretty good draw. And we're close to there not being enough cards in graveyards to activate Death Rite. Opponent potentially going for the natural discard here, in order to get 2 creatures in the graveyard and then exhume. There's Lightning Bolt, that's great. I could Wasteland, but I don't think I should because I have the Stifle anyway. My opponent might have basics in the deck, I'm not too sure, but I think they do. I'm gonna keep the Lightning Bolt in hand to cloud it. Don't let my opponent know that they're on a much shorter clock than it appears to be. So yeah, there's the Grizzlebrand. Brainstorm, decent draw. Likely not gonna use it though. I could have main faced the Death Rite activation, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. Okay, so they just concede. That is how you win a game against Black Red Reanimator. You have Death Rite Shaman, a Spell Snare, and a Wasteland. Apparently that is enough. So for sideboarding, we get to bring in all the hate, and I do mean all of it. Don't want the creature, don't want this, don't want all of these, don't want the Dismember, don't want the Loam. Boarding out 1 Hooting Mandrills, and I think all of the Lightning Bolts. I could also split Mandrills and Lightning Bolts, but so far I have not lost 2 creatures out of Black Red Reanimator. Oh, actually have not yet seen any creatures out of the deck. Any Lightning Bolt creatures, that is. And Hooting Mandrills just does more damage than Lightning Bolt, likely. The Cage, as I've mentioned in the deck check, is extremely valuable because they do have Collective Brutality for Death Rite Shaman, but they can't Collective Brutality Cage, and this hand is amazing. Force Double Surgical. That is pretty good. So there's a Chancellor, which is okay. If they don't kill me now, that is really good for me because now all of my cards are active and I draw another land. This is just amazing. I'm likely not doing anything either now. It's just pretty good. And drawing this land actually makes me not want... So it's hard. I can either keep up Stifle, Spell Pierce, or I can play Death Rite Shaman. Given that I have double Surgical, I think I can afford to hold off on the Death Rite Shaman for another turn and just keep up the Stifle. But this is not looking great for my opponent, I have to admit. I mean, I do not know what is going on in their hand, but... So, reanimate. Let's just go ahead and surgical, because surgical shuts off additional reanimation spells. Also, the value underground seal lets me cast surgical for mana. Now the Chancellor triggers. Did they reveal 2 Chancellors? Wow, that is... I should have noticed that. That is extremely annoying. Is it? Huh. That is annoying. I guess this means I have to... Huh. Yeah, I could have beat that. Another question is, which of my cards do I want to use? The Spell Pierce, which could protect my Deathrite Shaman, or just the second Surgical? Let's just use the second Surgical. Wow, double Chancellor. So they have Collective Brutality. These windows are so annoying. I can never tell if I've taken anything, everything yet. So what do they have left? There's 1 Iona, 4 Grizzlebrands, and a Tidespout Tyrant, and Brutality, Duress, Exhume, and Reanimate in their hand. So you're good on me for using the second Surgical rather than the Spell Pierce, but still this is extremely annoying. I just wasted a Surgical for nothing. Now I get to F6 for my opponent's turn. And it didn't even save me life because I had to cast the second Surgical for life. Hooting Mandrels is a decent draw here. I might be supposed to just play it. So this is hard between Hooting Mandrels, Deathrite Shaman. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and play the Deathrite. I could have just destroyed my opponent, obviously, keeping both Surgicals, but no, that is not how Jonathan operates. So here's Duress, which I'm gonna let resolve. And now I still know some land, Reanimate, Exhume, and Collective Brutality. So they take the Stifle, which means the land is okay. Catacombs. I would not have Stifled, for the record. Although this might be good if they have another 1 mana discard spell, which apparently they do. Yeah, let them take the Spell Pierce and lose 2 life. I can live with that. Wow, the Mandrels. Okay, even better for me. Still would have liked to have another Surgical in my hand. This Volcanic. I'm actually gonna play, because this means I have 5 mana for Force of Will Hardcast. I am 2 lands off of Deathrite plus Force, so now they have Brutality, Reanimate, and Exhume in their hand. All I have to do is make sure the Collective Brutality doesn't resolve, because I need to keep this death right around. Oh, they're gonna reanimate my Hooting Mandrills now. Are they? Okay. Thank you. So now they have Reanimate in hand. And are they just gonna reanimate my Hooting Mandrills? Or did they just fetch? Yeah. This is interesting that this actually comes up. Ponder. I do not actually think I want to cast this Ponder because I want to keep up force in case my opponent has another Collective Brutality off the top. Excited target and sorcery doesn't really matter, I don't think. Yeah, throwing away that surgical was annoying. This is a very weird game in that I want to play all my lands. Oh, this is a very good Ponder. Unfortunately, I had to eat my Hooting Mandrills. But Collective Brutality is sorcery good. Had my opponent not cast Reanimate on my Hooting Mandrills, I could have surgeried them. But either way, I think this game is looking very good for me. And they might just be conceding, or my Magic Online is lagging too hard. Okay, so we went 3-2 in the league. The first loss against Moon Stompy was very annoying. Not too happy about that. I might record another league with this deck, or a variation that runs black instead of red, because I'm not currently playing Pyroblast because it doesn't seem like there are many cards I want to Pyroblast. So it's, I mean, Ancient Grudge is good and Lightning Bolt is also good, but killing creatures cold is also really, really good, and getting to run good manic answers to Chalice of the Void is also pretty sweet, in the form of Abrupt Decay. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and see you tomorrow, I hope, with probably matches from the Legacy Challenge, depending on how I do, or a new league run. Thanks for tuning in.